Okay, at the Blue Diamond website, we have this floor plan and we have these photographs here. All these photographs are stored in a file. Basically what I did was I took the entire Blue Diamond website. So if I go into my websites, the last time I did it was January the 14th. This is a backup from January the 14th. Unless anything's been put in there since then, it won't show up here. But I'm assuming most of these are still in there from years back. So what I have to do when I'm on the website and I go into this picture folder here, it comes up to the thumbnails and I need to get to the original file. I need to get to any one of these files and get to the full size. So I'm going to have to max it out with this button right here to come into the max size. Now this is the max size and that's what I have to copy. And this one right here, I've got to right click on it. When I right click on it, I'm going to say copy image address. See that right there? Copy image address. Select that one. Then go and open up a new tab in your browser and paste that in there. You could right click on your mouse and paste, or you can control V and paste. Once you get that, the image will show up here. Now what I'm looking for, or what we're looking for, is the path. Where is this image stored? And this image is stored, we go back to the end, so we see it's a JPEG file, then we see this is the file name, and then we see that it's in a directory called large 1400px, which is in a directory called image cache, which is in a directory called files, which is in a directory called default, which is in a directory called sites, which is at the site domain, which is bluediamondhomeandrv.com. So with that said, I've copied the entire site down, so when I switch back over to my computer, my local computer here, we can see the directory structure. Now remember, it was the directory which was bluediamondhomeandrv.com, then it was sites, so we'll go into the sites folder, then we'll go into the default folder, then we'll go into the files folder, and then we'll go into the image cache folder, then we'll go into the large 1400px folder, and here is where all the images are stored of the entire of these. Basically all of the images for any of the floor plans are going to be stored here. And out of here, since the naming conventions were either, as we can see, strictly from the camera, this is the camera name, what the camera called it, then there's no naming convention. And what you need to have is a naming convention. And what that means is you name things according to something, anything, whether it be a date, could be a naming convention. So the problem is that a naming convention needs to be put in place because no image can be the same. If there are two images in this folder that have the same exact name, the server's not going to like it. Okay, so each name has to be unique, and that's why you come up with a naming convention. And in the case where you have a product, normally you take the product number, the product ID number, and that's what you name the pictures, and then you have a sequential number that can be added onto that. But in this Blue Diamond website, there is no naming convention that took place, and so there's no way of knowing which pictures belong to which item without going into the Drupal website and using Drupal to figure it out. But for our purpose, we have to just do this manually. Okay, with that said, if we go back to Photoshop over here and we take our image, basically we'll go back to our file that we're looking for is bus underscore etc underscore and underscore new underscore park underscore models underscore 5 underscore 1 4 underscore 1 6 underscore 152 underscore 0 dot JPEG. That's the name of this JPEG file. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take the floor plan ID and just use the floor plan ID and then increment it by numbers and size, which I'll show you. So if we go back to the Blue Diamond website here, we can see that, and we'll shut this picture, we don't need it anymore. We're interested in the model number. So we're going to use this as the model number right here. Let's copy that. You could right click on your mouse and copy, or you can do Control C to copy. Now I have my files and I've opened up each one of the files in Photoshop. What I want to do is I want to open up all the files related to this floor plan that I have right now, and I want to bring them to exactly 600 or 960 pixels wide, and I need another one at 320 pixels wide, and I'm going to start out at a base of 1920 pixels wide. So we're going to wind up with 3 different sizes. Now I've been doing about 4 different sizes, and I might come back and resize them again, but right now we just have to get up and running, and we're just going to do the 2 sizes, which is basically going to be a small size for the thumbnail and a large size for the big picture that they can see at the maximum resolution. So the files are all opened up here in one shot in Photoshop, and because I want to resize them all the same sizes, we're going to be working with one at a time. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to, on the left side here, we've got to resize it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a number here in pixels, which is 1920, the largest I want it to be, 1900 space px. And the next thing, make sure there's nothing here, because we want it to figure out on its own how tall to make this, but we want to know how wide it is, and that's going to be right now 1940. Once we have that, you'll see these bars. You got to hit the enter key twice. Once you hit it twice, it resizes it. Now that it's resized, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here under File, File Export, and then slide over until it comes to Save for Web right there. Okay, that's a Control Shift Alt S, and that'll open up this box right here, and that's a real time saver if you use those shortcut keys. Again, it's Shift, Control, Alt, and S, and that's going to bring this up right here. Once you're here, make sure that once you do this one time, it's going to come back and it'll remember your settings. Just make sure that you're in this first setting. Click in this first box right here. Make sure this says JPEG high, JPEG here, and it's going to be high right here. This could be medium, very high. Okay, what we're going to just do is keep this at high. So we have the JPEG high, and then this is going to be JPEG file, because it could be a PNG, it could be PNG 8 or PNG 24, it could be GIF. We want this to be a JPEG file, okay? Now, once we have that, this is set. We see it brought it down from 7.9 megabits to 286 kilobytes. There you go. Hit the save button. Now we're here. Now the important part comes into play. We need to now know that the model number, that's why we copied that model number. Now we're going to do a Control V right here and paste. Okay, so the only thing that should be showing in this whole window right now is it says, and we're going to take out this Marlet because I don't want that there. I just want the numbers. And what I'm going to do is I have to retype this in because it needs to be lowercase. Okay, we're going to change these and make sure it's all lowercase. So there's the model number, lowercase. In our particular situation, we're going to change this model number. Right after the hyphen, we're going to put B for blue and D for diamond. So this model number will have this BD right after the hyphen in any model number in the entire website. Okay? At this point, we're going to hit the save button, and that will save it. And now we will move on to the next size. Now the next size we're going to do is 960 pixels. So 960 right there, 960. Once we have 960, these little bars are going to show up. You hit the enter key twice, okay, and then it's going to resize it to 960 pixels. If you want to, you can view this at 100%, and that'll show you what the size it shows to the user on the website. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is save this. Remember I said if you want that saved, we're going to do it one time over here again. Save will be File, File Export, and slide over there and make sure you don't do what I just did, and then hit that Save button. But you see the short keys, Alt, Shift, Control, S. That's the way you get here. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on to get this box to open up. Okay. After you do that, we're already set. It already knows that everything here remembered from my last exercise. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to rename this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to the one I just created, and I'm going to click it one time ever so lightly, because if you click it twice, the computer's going to think that's what you want to name it. Once I have it named here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put at the end of the 16, I'm going to put -02, okay? And I probably should have put the -01 on the other one. I'm going to go back and change that because that's the way it has to be. What I'm going to do right now, just to make my life easier, is I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy this. See, and I didn't take that too, and you'll see why. Copy that. Now, I'm going to save this file as the model number with the blue diamonds stuffed in there in the middle, and then -02 for this one. The next one will be 03, 04, and so on, and you can get up to 99 of them at least, and you can keep going. Next, hit the save button. Now we're back, so we got to do another one. We got to go to 320 because we need a thumbnail picture. So 320, we have our double bars here, so I'm going to hit enter twice on the keyboard, and now I'm going to do, I'm ready, I'm going to do my Control Shift Alt S, and that's going to bring up this box here. Once I have that box, everything's set up, all I have to do is hit save, and now I'm going to rename. All that's highlighted down there, so all I have to do is a Control V for pasting. Remember I copied it, so I got a Control V for pasting, and now I can name it. All I have to do is put the number 3 right there, and I can hit the save, and I'm done. Okay, so we've expedited this a little bit. Now that I have those two sizes, I no longer need this one open. I need to move to the next one. But because there's so many pictures here and we're going to get lost, what we want to do is take this picture here and revert it back to where it was originally at. And so we're going to go up here to File, Revert. And that's going to bring it back to before we even started doing anything. And now we're going to close it so we don't get lost. Now that that's closed, it's not going to be in here for us to resize because we know we've already resized it. We've closed it. So that's the process that we've got to take on each one of these floor plans and each one of the pictures that are in the floor plan. So let's start again. On this next picture, what we're going to do is we're going to sit up here and we're going to do that, what was it, 1920. Going to hit enter twice. Now we're going to hit Shift, Control, Alt, S. That's going to bring up this box. You're going to hit the save button right here because everything should be set up. Now we're going to do Control V again because we have this saved. We're going to go to the next sequential number, which we can see as number 4, and then hit the save button. Now, granted, if you go off and write a letter to somebody and do a copy and paste over there, everything is going to be messed up. So go through the entire picture before you change to another picture. Now, otherwise you're going to get lost because this is just so repetitive. Now this number was 960. Hit the enter button twice. Hit the Shift Control Alt S. Brings up this box. You can hit the save button, or here you can hit enter. Then here you can hit paste. Then here you can do a number, the next sequential number, which in this case is 5. You can hit the enter button again. So now we have our two sizes done. Oh no, we don't. We have another size. We have to do the 320. So do the 320, 2 times on the enter key, Shift Control Alt S. That brings up this box. Hit the enter key, and now hit the paste key, next sequential number, hit the enter key, and you've completed an entire photo. Go back and revert that photo back to 0, and then close that photo out so you can start on your next photo. And that's what has to happen for each picture on the entire website. Each picture on there's 40 pictures on each floor plan, and there's a few hundred floor plans. So this is going to be quite a bit of work right here.